I have to do that through a guy so that I don't hurt others. Where was she? I remember at one point saying to my mum, I guess it was 5 years after my stepfather had left, he's somewhere in Europe, I think, if he's still alive. I sort of said to her one day, can we talk? I want to talk about my childhood. And, she said to me, it didn't happen, I don't want to talk about it. And I left it.
Oh, my gosh.
And we never talked about it. But, I sat and thought, what would be the point? Did she, didn't she? I'm not saying she did know. Maybe she just realized because of what happened when I was an adult that maybe it could have happened when I was a child. I don't know. It could have just been, mixed up feelings in her own head, something that she thought I might say. But, she didn't want to take that chance. Did it matter that much to me to put her through any more pain? No, it didn't. It was a case of, I was at a point in my life then where, would it make a difference? My stepfather wrote to my mother 2 years after he left, telling her the real truth, which was, we weren't having an affair, what he had done, the degrees he'd gone to actually destroy my life and the people around me. And I know that my mum came to me because obviously her whole family were aware of the facts or his lies of what had gone on. And she sort of said, well, do you want me to ring them all? Do you want me to tell them this? Do you want me to sort of, go out to bat for you, say, actually, no, this is the real truth and wave a flag? And I said no. And, and I really meant it, Carol. It wasn't a case of, I didn't need to. Back then, maybe I would have. Maybe if they'd have wanted to listen to me then, maybe 5 years, what would be the point now? All it would do, in my own mind, would cause her more pain and hurt, and more, feel more degraded or more, ashamed. Any other scenario I could sort of pull out there, really. What would that do for me? It would do nothing for me. It would only cause her pain. So I said, no, leave it, put it down. It's done. It's past. I don't need that now. I've dealt with it, so we need to move on with both our lives.
Oh, my goodness, Teresa. I just can't imagine you walking around having people have this false impression of this scat of a guy that is protecting himself by these horrible, horrible rumors. And did he convince your mom? Was she convinced you had an affair with him?
Yeah, I think she did. He took her on holiday. He went and did this to my family members. He then drove home, and my mum rang me and said that the short notice they were going on holiday for a week. And I thought, I hadn't heard from him for a while. Maybe he believed, because this is at the point in time where I told him it was over and stopped. That was the reason he went and told these lies to all and sundries, because I'd pushed him to that point. Then I had this week of quiet. He didn't come into the office, and I thought, okay, maybe he realized now this is it. I meant it, and it stopped. He actually took her on a holiday. My mother couldn't drive, so he'd booked a cottage in the middle of the country, really, in the moors, in the wilds. There was no landline telephone there. A cell phone wouldn't work because there was no signal.
Wow.
As I said, she couldn't drive. I need to explain here that my father had many guns. He was a member of a shooting club, so he had guns, freely available to him at any point in time. He'd taken a handgun with him and sort of sat down in this cottage with my mother and told her that about the said affair, his side of the story. And he sort of sat that day and said to her, it was me. I was evil. I'd sort of pulled him into this sort of situation by manipulation. So he turned the tables on me big time. It was me that wasn't the one out there. And he sort of sat with this gun in his hand and said that if she didn't forgive him, or if she was going to leave him, he was going to shoot himself. And by the time she got anywhere at all to get any help, he'd be dead, because there was no way she could. There was no phones. She couldn't drive the car.
Oh my God.
How that happened between that point in time and then I then had a phone call, which was from a mother who'd got my stepfather to drive her to a service station. I picked up the phone and sort of heard a voice, and I said, hi, having a good time? And the first words from her mouth were, are you having an affair with your stepfather? The hairs on the back of my neck went up. I could have dropped the phone. I was speechless. All those emotions where you feel this, I had a knot in my stomach, my heart was racing, and I'm thinking, he couldn't have said this. How could he have said this? And I said to her, where is he? And she said, he's here. I said, can you give him the phone? And he gave me the phone, and I will be expressive here. I said to him, "You're a bastard. Why did you say that? What have you done?" You know. And then the line went dead. I thought put the phone down. The next voice I heard was my mother's, and I said, "Where is he?" And she said, "He's run to the toilets. He's gone." You know, so he couldn't stand there and confront it. I then had asked her to come to talk to me, and I had to wait for an hour and a half for her to actually go from her destination to where I was, to actually have a discussion about this. And you can imagine that time for me, how it was sitting, you know.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, but again, you know, there's some emotions that we invoke in people that we don't understand. And my mum came to me that day, and I just thought, well, I didn't think, I knew she was losing her world. She'd had a real bad life with my real father. You know, he beats her. I was a month early because he threw a boot in her stomach. You know, he never gave her any money. The only release she got from him is he was killed on a road when I was 3. So that was her only release, and I think her only way out.